We begin our conversation tonight with the Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, Democrat of Texas, and as we mentioned, a member of the House Oversight Committee. She's also a civil rights and a criminal defense attorney whom we've known for some time. We knew her when she was in the Texas legislature, and an observer back then would have realized that one may pick a fight with you, Congresswoman Crockett, but one has to expect one is going to get a fight back.
Absolutely. It's great to see you. And thank you so much for showing that I actually was trying to engage in something of substance in the committee hearing as well, because unfortunately the drama is the only thing that anyone knows about what happened yesterday. But when we talk about whether or not Republicans are serious about doing the work of the people, you have to juxtapose the fact that the Speaker of the House specifically disinvited the president of Kenya for a joint address to Congress because he said, we're just too busy. We have too many things to do. And then these people don't even show up for work. And instead, by the time they come in, all they do is wreak chaos and havoc.
Let's talk about this concept of even that oversight hearing, the things that are getting discussed. As we described it, it's an investigation in search of a crime. There's an actual crime or that's being tried in a court, but this Congress seems fixated on doing things about and around Donald Trump. At some point, when you go back to your district in Texas, people must be telling you this can't be what they expect Congress to be doing.
No, absolutely not. You know, my district wants me to work on real issues, such as my constituent, Eugene Gates, who worked for the Postal Service and died under terrible working conditions. They want us to investigate that. They want us to come up with things to make sure that we can save lives. But this particular committee has decided, because they've engaged in failure after failure after failure, that now we want to point to A.G. Garland. And because we weren't able to get the Homeland Security Secretary, and because we weren't able to get the president, now let's decide we're going to go after the Attorney General and instead say, you know what, hold him in contempt. They talked about jailing him, another thing that wasn't highlighted, but they talked about throw him in jail. Now they want to throw him in jail. Imagine this, Ali. They want to throw him in jail because they say, well, we didn't get the audio recordings of the voluntary statement that was given by the President of the United States. We have the transcript, and you heard Comer say last night, I've got 2 hearing aids. I can't hear. So why he needs the audio, I'm still kind of confused. But nevertheless, they want to throw him in jail for that, yet they want to go and defend Trump for something so much more egregious and act like he should not be in jail at all. That's who these people are.
But isn't that the problem? Because at one point, Mike Johnson had said this about impeachments. He said, you know, once you start going down this road, everybody just does it to everybody. Is this not the point, though, that they are distracting from Donald Trump's alleged criminality by turning what are policy issues? If you don't like what the Homeland Security Secretary is doing, that's a policy issue. You vote the bums out and you get a new Homeland Security. If you don't like what the Attorney General is doing, it's the same thing. They are turning policy disputes into something that is meant to look like criminality.
Absolutely, because they want to make it seem as if everyone is on the same level as Trump. And the reality is that Trump is in the basement. The rest of us are residing above the basement. And we, you know, you think about this, Ali, what are we dealing with right now with the Supreme Court? We are dealing with lawyers that are saying, you know what, he needs to have a pass to commit crimes while he's president. And the Supreme Court is actually listening and weighing in on this as if it's anything to think about. This is what we've devolved in. This is why this is not the party of law and order. This is why we saw all of the chaos yesterday with Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is why we saw chaos last week with Marjorie Taylor Greene. So there is no they're there and both sides are equally bad. That is not the truth. The reality is that once Marjorie broke the rules yesterday, Comer decided he wasn't going to enforce the rules, and I decided that I didn't sign up to come to Congress to be anybody's doormat, and so therefore I was not going to violate the rules. But because I understand the rules and I'm a good lawyer, I decided to just ask a parliamentary inquiry.